Okay, let's have a look if we can fix this USB cable. Now this is a USB 2 cable, it only has 4 wires, and what actually happened is that this had a little white thing on there, a little bit like that, where the cable came out, and it was obviously this wire in here is not very, it's a little bit more brittle than what it should be, and some of them had broken. So I have tested it, and there is a good connection between the wires and the plug and so on, but it's going to be a little bit tricky to solder this up. It's going to be like a bit like micro soldering. So the first thing I like to do is to put a tiny bit of flux on there. This is ordinary diluted rosin flux. Very little is needed here. Diluted in alcohol so that it evaporates as soon as you put the soldering iron on it. Okay, now I've got to turn the soldering iron on. And I think we will use thin 0.3 millimeter solder. Oh, it's the wrong soldering iron. I need this one. Set to 325. It's probably enough. So I just like to put some solder on these wires. Actually, what's happening here is that I have already marked, see, this is V bus plus 5 volts, this is ground, and these are the two signal wires. One is D minus, one is D plus, so I'll put a little bit of spots on there so I can recognize them. But you see what happens with this wire is that the insulation actually melts and shrinks back. So I'm actually going to cut that back a little bit, like so. The only thing is that I don't have much wire to work with in the actual plug here, and I'm going to try to put a little heatsink on there. Will this one make us, because if that shrinks back it'll go too far back near the, see if that will work. Guess I can maybe I'll lower the temperature a little bit to 300. It's that's thin wires. Okay. Let's see what happens. I think that worked. Okay, need 2 hands to do that. So and the two signal wires. They are thinner than the power wires. Make sure that there's plenty of solder on these. Okay, so what we've done so far then is I've had to strip this back a little bit further than what I would normally want to do, but we're going to reinforce that. I've got some heat shrink tubing over here that's going to go over the whole thing, and I've got 3 little pieces of heat shrink tubing ready to go over each individual little wire, except for this one that's ground, because if those 3 are insulated then this one doesn't matter. It'll just add bulk if I put one on the 4th one. And we are going to be soldering up the inside the signal wires first, and then we'll do the outside power wires. So what I need to do right now is to make these like so. Get them kind of like touching. Looks like that one is done. Now the little black one. Or D minus as it is called. Okay, so these two are connected. So I guess while we're at it, we'll do the red one here. This little heatsink seems to need a bit of oil on it. Oh, it seems to be closing. All right. Some reason the other camera keeps getting out of focus. I don't know why. It's doing it all by itself. Teach me for buying a cheap $20 camera from AliExpress, I guess. I think I need a little bit more solder on that one. Okay. Okay, this one I'm going to be using these tweezers here because they keep a grip. All right, this one for some reason was playing a bit hard to get. Now, you should be able to remove this Kapton tape over here. Okay, finally. One of those cheap hot air guns that came with actually a package of heat shrink tubing. But it works okay for this. Okay, so now we should be able to use our board here. Yeah, we got rid of this second camera. It's playing up. It doesn't stay in focus for some reason. Okay, so now we should be able to use this little board to check if we have a good connection. Now this is a micro B. It goes in here, I believe. Okay, so we got all four connections here, D plus, D minus, V bus and ground. So we're in business. I'm curious, it has these little adapters here. So now it is a USB-C. And yep, USB-C of course duplicates some of the signals, but it's still just the four signals. So that is working. Okay, so now the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of epoxy putty around this plug here so it's not going to be bending right here. All right. Wet my fingers a bit so it doesn't stick. Okay, I think that will do it. Okay, so we salvaged this cable for whatever it's worth, just for the heck of it. It's kind of convenient, you can kind of pull it and lengthen it and so on, but it's only a USB 2 cable and I actually haven't used it all that much, but sometimes it could be handy. Anyway, please subscribe and like and all that sort of stuff, and next I'm going to be doing a little video on this little tiny device over here, which is a MT2802 or something like that. It's a little boost voltage controller specifically made for boosting the voltage of a lithium ion cell like that, so that you can actually, and it uses very few components, just a little an inductor and a capacitor or something, so you can boost the voltage of a lithium ion cell from 3.7 to 4.2, which is normally its voltage is, to 5 volts. So it is made small so that it can actually be incorporated into a circuit, right into the cell, really. Okay, so I'm gonna try that out and have some fun with that. So I'll see you guys later again.